See if we're live.
You are. 17 seconds.
Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. We don't have anybody here yet, Brian. So we'll just kind of.
Okay, say something.
Tell me you can say something.
I can say anything you need. I don't know if you can hear me.
That's beautiful. I
Right.
I don't have anything here. I hear yours. I don't hear mine.
Did you unmute it on the bottom?
Nope.
Hey, Brian, I got your questions too.
No, I don't hear him at all. Hey, Kevin, thanks for showing up, man. We are on. We're just having audio problems. I'm having a problem with audio.
We can hear you
Brian,
fine.
can you
I
say
can hear
something?
you. I
You can hear me. I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Can you hear him? You got him? I don't know.
I have no idea.
I hear that. My speaker's on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaker and mic are on. Camera's on.
I found
There
it.
you go.
I found it.
You hear me now?
I got it now, brother.
Hey.
All right, thank you. I'm going to take you off real quick and we're going to start this thing. Hey, Kevin. Hope all's going well. We finally got, it was actually my stuff here that's broke. I want to go through a couple things real quick before we go. Hey, Brian, glad to see you again, brother. Yes, sir. You too, Mr. Vincent. We're just letting a couple minutes go by here so we can get this thing rocking and rolling. All right, so I just want to. I can't sit here for dead air. It kills me to do that. So those who come will come, and those who come late will miss the beginning of this. All right, so first thing I wanted to talk to you about real quick is the FMCSA has come out today on the 31st. Hey, man, and they have now revoked ELD 1's ELD devices. And on January 31st, the FMCSA removed the following devices from its list of registered ELDs due to companies' failure to meet the minimum requirements. Okay. So if you have an ELD right now and the name of it's ELD 1 and the provider is TMS 1, well, there's no longer an acceptable device. Motor carriers and drivers who have the device listed above must take the following actions. 1, you're to discontinue using the revoked device and revert to paper logs immediately or some kind of logging software to record your hours of service. And you have to replace that device before April 1st. So if you're using it, stop and get on paper logs. If you're not using it, please don't buy a used one, or don't be suckered into buying that. Okay, next up, Federal Reserve. Here we go. So Federal Reserve Chair Powell addresses the Fed's decision to increase the interest rate by another 0.25 basis points. All right, so what does it mean? Really, I think what it means, guys, is that they're trying to bring us in for a soft landing. I don't know whether it'll work or not, but they see some easing going on. I see some decline in truck sales, a lot of used trucks out there, a lot of used trailers. Prices are coming down. So, just be cognizant of that. Don't dive in while these interest rates are going to be really high. It's going to be painful for you if you do. All right. So the next thing I want to touch base on real quick, a super cool product find. Guys, I want to tell you something. And this is also safety related. I was just gandering around somewhere and found this thing. It's $19 on Amazon. Take the name of it down. It's a charging cable for your phone. And this is what it looks like. Okay. Thought it was very cool. I ordered it. We test drove it and absolutely love it. I want to show you. Look, this is on my phone here. What's so cool about it, if you can see, it's got a little light. That's cool. You know, monkey-like shiny things. But I keep my phone up here. And if for some reason I need to plug it up or unplug it, I just bring it up and it connects with a magnet. It's friggin' amazing. So safe. Highly recommend it. I don't make anything off of it. I'm just telling you, if you're going to have a truck and you need a cable, do it that way, because that is a good, safe way for your cable. All right, so the last thing I want to throw in here real quick is I want you guys to remember one thing. All proceeds from the mentorship program that we're doing on Patreon, all that goes to the Wounded Warrior Project and St. Jude's Children's Hospital. I want to thank you guys for helping us help them. All right, so that's it for all the goo-goo stuff. Now, tonight, got a great guest, fellow veteran. He is my insurance broker, and he saved me a ton of money, and I truly appreciate him saving me a ton of money. So I thought I would bring him on so as to try to help you guys maybe,
To save a ton of money.
get a ton of money saved. So, so I'm going to bring you on, Bryan. This is Bryan. All right, let's see if I can knock this out. There we go. Hey, Bryan.
Hey, good evening. How you doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Listen, these guys that we're trying to help here are getting into business or are in the business and are seeking guidance with insurance. And I thought, well, there's no better person to bring on than the person I use. So I had a few questions for you before we get started. And that is, when these guys are setting up their companies and setting up their MCs, what is the biggest mistake that you find most people make when getting their insurance? What affects their insurance as they're trying to get it set up?
A lot of times it's how they set up their MCS 150. That's your change form for your FMCSA. It's your MCS 150. Listing the wrong commodities, so it starts out on the wrong foot, and primarily listing too many commodities. For example, if you're going to do lumber, just do building materials. But if you're going to be an auto hauler and you're doing on a flatbed, you also need to be building materials and vehicles as well if it's on a flatbed. But that's the number one mistake people make. And the other side of it is not acting things in time when you first file your insurance, updating, make sure your FMCSA is up to date from the very get-go. And when we put the filings on it. The filings are done by what's called an MCS 90. And that's the insurance form. It's done straight from the insurance brokers or straight from the insurance company, the request, and that's the filing, the post of filings on FMCSA. But that's the number one thing people do wrong on that as well. What
do you think the most important thing is when you're out looking for insurance?
Knowing what you're getting. It's company for company. You need to find a company that's going to match what you want as well. None of this insurance is cheap. And there's no way you're going to get around, but know what you're getting and what you're paying for. Your insurance broker should take you through each coverage and make sure it's exactly what you need. And if you have any questions on that, to be able to ask those questions as well. But just like I said, just know what you got to have on that.
Well, I've told these guys in the past, I said that as I was coming, I switched to you a little bit prior to me leaving Progressive.
Mm-hmm.
But as we were rolling up on the renewal for Progressive, they were going to charge about $111,000. And I got this over to Bryan, and Bryan shopped it and got exactly what we needed and told me what I needed to do. And when I renewed not with Progressive, but I renewed for $67,000, which is a huge savings. So I thank you again for that. It took a lot of hard work to make that happen.
Oh, the girls, they take care of me.
Yeah, right. Right.
I have 4 account managers, and Patty's my senior, and she does a terrific job.
Yeah, Patty's good. She is. What can be done to lower somebody's existing insurance cost? What can you do? Can you cut midterm? Can you? What do you got to do?
I would be careful cutting midterm. You can. I mean, honestly, you can, but you're going to cut yourself on who will quote you midterm. Not every carrier is going to quote midterm. Matter of fact, most carriers do not want to quote midterm moves on that as well. If you look at your existing and see exactly what you don't need on there, maybe you can lower. The truck is only worth $35,000 and you're paying for $50,000. Well, I would tell you, if you have a large accident, they're never going to give you that $50,000 if the truck's not worth $50,000.
Right. And that's something I wanted to talk to you about too. And I see this happen all the time is these guys go out and get a truck and a trailer, and the insurance company, this is like a cop asking you, "What do you know why I stopped you?" Well, they're going to ask you, "What is your stuff worth?" Well, your stuff may be worth $80,000 to you, but in an insurance claim, they're going to look at it and say, "No, that thing's only worth $42,000, and that's all they're going to give you for it."
And that's a key to it. And you're exactly right. If the equipment is not worth it at the time of loss, you're going to either get the stated value, what you tell on the insurance company, or you're going to get actual cash value, whichever one is less.
Right.
You want to have a little bit of cushion especially on what you equipment, but you don't want to have $40,000 or $50,000 unless the value of that equipment is that value.
Right. Right. Now, when should a carrier, let's say we have an existing carrier, when should that carrier start looking at renewing their policy? I mean, is that 3 months, 90 days, 60 days?
Depending on the size of the account. If you're 1 to 3, we start you at 60 days because an insurance company will only quote you 30 days out. A quote is 30 days. So that's why they'll be within that last 30 days before you get a quote. If you have more than 3 units, we start you 90 days out.
Gotcha. Well, we got 8 now, so
yeah,
we're so listen, we're going to have a lot of questions here. We got several people on the site now, and what we want to do is we're going to, I've got to have, it won't let me just put you on the screen. I got to be here for some reason.
No worries.
But maybe I don't. Hold on. Let me try this.
Hey, there I am.
We're going to open this up for you. And we want these guys to ask their questions, and any kind of thing that you can do to kind of help them out would be great. As they ask the questions, Mila will be putting them up on the screen. So we have open questions about insurance. What do we got, guys? Who do we got? What do we got? Well, I got about 100 questions I could pound out here. So everybody else, you gotta love it. So
Question on the screen.
we got a question. Just received my MC needing insurance. Okay. So we're going to have a link. If you'll go to dd214.com, go under partners, I've got a link to him where this link will go to him, and you'll put your address, that kind of stuff, and he'll reach out as soon as he can. So that's how we're going to do this. So basically, Lee, how I see this working is we're going to send this to you. Or you're going to go over there, and he's going to get it. He's going to call you, and he's going to, don't you review their 150 to make sure they're okay before we go quote and stuff?
And I can't see the entire question on that, but I think he was asking, when should he get insurance? He just got his authority.
And 90 days.
If you have 90 days to do it, and once you get your insurance on file, your payments, everything start from that time that it gets on file. So, but when you get it on file, you got to be ready to basically roll. If that truck's not moving, it's not making you money. So if you put your insurance on file, and it's going to take 3 to 5 days before your MC goes active anyway, on that 5th or 6th day, hopefully it's active and you can start pulling loads on that as well. But the short answer is when should you get it? When you're ready to start rolling and get that your MC active. Typically, they won't go active 21 days after you first get it. But after that waiting period in most states, you can go active within a few days after that. Let's see. I can't make out the next question on there, to be honest with you. And I think it's asking that if I can make out what it is. It's something about more commodities on the MCS 150. You can update it on there, and your insurance advisor should be able to tell you exactly what you should have and should not have on there as well. And how important is it to, you can't get a full quote without having VIN numbers on it. They have to know what kind of truck they have to rate it on, whether it be a rating scale of the weight or the actual horsepower of it as well. And so each truck will rate differently from each company as well. You'll have basic lines of coverage that you have. Your auto liability is what goes on your MCS 90 filing, and that goes on your FMCSA page. And cargo coverage obviously is for cargo. That's anything that the trailer is hauling that's on top of the trailer. The physical damage and common collision will be if you have to have that, depending on your finance company or if it's paid off on it. That's the physical damage is damage caused to the truck or trailer, depending on it. And that's what Bryan was talking about, the values, making sure the values are important and all that. The only other typically coverage you have to have, and it's a shipper requirement, and that will be the general liability. General liability basically covers anything that does not have to do with the truck or trailer. In all the years I've done insurance, I've been advisor of the year for the past 3 years with Acrisure. For all the years, I've never had a general liability claim on the trucker. That's one reason for that 1 million, 2 million. A lot of times it's for the year is $1,000 versus your auto liability, which is your FMCSA filings, is 10, 15, 20 times that.
Mm-hmm. What we got? Brand new carrier. Are we really stuck with Progressive?
In the Hotshot, there's only a few carriers that will quote you. You have CoverWell that will quote you. You have Progressive quote you, National Indemnity, Berkshire, and I think TIP has a program out also that will do new ventures as well. You have basically those 5, depending on the state that you're in as well, because not all those right nationally, but each state guidelines are set up a little bit differently. Progressive is the world's largest insurance carrier. In trucking, they insure more trucks than everyone else almost combined. And depending on how you rate with Progressive, depends on how you should get, if that's the one you go forward with as well. And insurance, one of the first questions I always get is, how am I judged on insurance? You have some basic categories. 1, your driving history, obviously. 2, your maintenance of the vehicle. 3, your med card, which should always be an easy one. 4 is your ELD violations. If you're going to get a violation, typically it's going to be in those 4. Usually ELD or driving on that, and your maintenance. That's the top 3 categories. The ones they don't list on that is your pay history and credit rating on that. And if you're someone that has terrific credit, you've done a great job doing that, you'll get rewarded from companies like Progressive and CoverWell and those, because they're going to give you a lower rate on it. National Indemnity, Berkshire, and their TIP program does not use a credit rating. So you may get better numbers from them versus a Progressive.
Just to follow up on that last question real quick, do reach out to him. Go to DD214, go to partners, and under insurance, just fill that little thing out. He'll get it direct, and as soon as he can get to you, he'll reach back out. Promise you. Okay, it says you probably already answered this, but what's the best candidate to get the lowest insurance rate?
Well, if we're talking, it's going to depend on the carrier, but the best candidate will be 35 years old, perfect clean driving record, great credit, newer equipment, and hopefully that equipment is paid off as well, so you'll save some money on that side of it. That's going to be the perfect candidate. All those factors will factor into the rating itself. Ratings, they're not black and white.
They're not.
If, for instance, I live in Dothan, Alabama, and the top town that I live in, a carrier from here, their rate will literally be $3,000 less than the one across town, and it's all the zip code rating on that, and everything else being the exact same. It's going to be $3,000 less in this area versus across town, and it's literally 15 miles. So there's a lot of factors that you have no control over on that as well. A lot of states are set up where the insurance companies from county to county, it's a different rating as well.
Okay, so what's the next question? Let's see. New in the business, I have a new GMC Sierra Dually 2023.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to do the business moving RVs and boats only, what kind of insurance do I could almost answer that for him, but go ahead.
And you're gonna need to make sure that you're gonna be stuck with a few different carriers. Not everybody will do RVs and boats, especially as a new venture. I think, Bryan, we found that out.
We fought that, didn't we, for a minute?
Absolutely. You're gonna just need the $1 million in liability. You'll need the 100,000 cargo, but you'll need for RVs and boats. Those are two very specific categories. Not every carrier will insure those as far as being hauled as cargo. Boats, there are going to be a lot of questions about what kind of boats you're going to have. Are you using their trailer? Are they going to be mounted to your specialty trailer? You also have to have a general liability policy, and a lot of times your cargo on those, instead of the 100,000, a lot of times your cargo is going to have to be the 150 to 200 to 250,000 on that.
And it gets steep. You know, that from 100 to 200 was like $48 a month. I went to 300 and it was like boom. I was like, what happened? So yeah,
cargo rates are based on, they're percentage based. On every carrier, there's going to be a percentage for cargo rates. Pretty steady percentage, 1 to 1.5, 2%. When you get to auto carrier or a boat hauler, on those two, you're going to see, instead of that 100,000 being at 2%, which would be $2,000, give or take a little bit of it, you're going to get 3 to 4% a lot of times. And that's where a good advisor will start trying to look to break out the cargo to different carrier. All will be A-rated typically, but try to just shop it around. And sometimes you can save $1,000 just in cargo.
Right.
Just by shopping that.
And that's your job.
Yep.
That's what he did for me, guys. And this is what I want you to understand, that if you sit still and you don't shop insurance, they'll break you. They will go up on you every time. You may go from this insurance company, and in 2 years you got to move, and in 2 years you got to move, and then in another 2 years you're back to the first insurance company. You never know. So always shop it. What do we got, Miss?
Okay, he didn't finish the sentence.
Okay, so
Planning to stay local.
okay, he says he's planning to stay local. It says, what is the minimum insurance I need to keep my DOT active? I'm planning to stay local.
Typically, your DOT is simply the state filing, and
Right.
that's most states are 750,000 on that. The issue you're going to fall into is, even though you can stay active on that, if you're looking to actually haul things, most shippers are going to require the $1 million.
Right.
More and more, I've actually seen the 1.5% $2 million as well.
Okay, what we got? Okay, now listen. Now this is something I'm going to help on just for a minute. You correct me if I'm wrong.
All right.
All right. It says, in a lease-on situation, when quoted a price for property damage, is this the same as what would be comp and collision on a typical policy? And that is no.
Right.
You have to understand that when you lease on to somebody, that you have to run under their insurance by law. So whatever insurance they're carrying for you, you will be carried the auto liability, the cargo, and if you choose to take physical damage while under a load, then you'll have that. Now, once you drop that load, once you drop it, you have to have bobtail unladen insurance, okay, which is normally in a pickup situation, it's going to be what your state requires. If you have a lien on that truck, the bank's going to require so much as well. Now, please correct all the things I messed up.
Well, I think depending on his wording, I can't quite make out the entire sentence on it. But if he said property damage is a liability, and
Right, auto liability.
Yeah, and that's what Bryan was talking about was your physical damage, and property damage is followed by auto liability on that. Physical damage is comp and collision in a commercial on that. You'll see on the COI, it may say BIPD, and what that is under your auto liability, that stands for bodily injury and property damage, and that's liability damages caused by on that. Your physical damage is a separate line of coverage, and that's your comp and collision.
If Alan, if that didn't answer your question, buddy, hit us back, please. What else we got?
Okay. Here's a couple things. Let's first.
Okay, it says we're a car hauler, Florida only. Well, first off, Florida's got some of the highest insurance out there, and so I don't know what you're trying to tell me, but whatever that is, Bryan, take off on it.
No, what he's talking about is he runs a DOT and he only hauls in the state of Florida. Typically, does not cross state lines on that. If I'm reading that into that, and who will, if he's asking who's going to quote in the best company, it's Florida is one of the trickiest states, and Bryan is absolutely right. They're one of the highest states. If you can stay in Florida Panhandle, you usually get pretty good rates on that. If you go south of Orlando, population when it comes to those tables, the insurance tables, population is the biggest factor. The more people you have, the more accidents you're going to have on that. If, for instance, if you can stay in the Panhandle out on the outskirts of Panama City and those, you can get decent rates for Florida. But if you go down to South Miami and south of Orlando, your rates are probably going to double. Just on that.
Yeah, they're brutal down in there. They're not joking.
And I've had 4 trucks last year that were stolen out of Miami. So
oh, really? Damn.
I understand on that side of it.
I don't know. Let's see. What do we got? Alan Carr. Let's see. Alan. Another Alan. If we were leased on with someone, are we covered for personal use, or you have to have a secondary policy, Alan?
That secondary policy will cover you more than it covers that company.
Yeah. And the secondary, you have to understand when you're leased on to somebody, they're not going to pay. When you go home, you drop that trailer, you decide to go to the bar and start drinking, they're not going to cover you for that. That's on you, bro. How DD 214 works is we cover you with our policy from the time you go under dispatch to the time you're back from dispatch. That's it.
And also what he's going to look at on that, and if there's a large accident, if those DOT numbers are on there, they're going to go after the large policy.
Oh, sure.
That's why secondary policy is more to cover you as the person driving more than anything else.
Right. All right. What do we got? That's what I meant. My wording was off. I meant physical damage being, we got you. We got you covered. I meant physical damage being what would cover you when you're not you would need the bobtail or unladen insurance for that. That's what, isn't that correct?
Yeah.
When they're not under dispatch, they would need bobtail or unladen insurance.
Yes.
Can you write insurance here in Bryan? Can you write insurance in Florida?
Yes, I'm licensed in about 20 states, Florida being one. I'm in Dothan, Alabama, so yes, I'm 10 miles line.
Yep, go over and fill out that form, and we'll get it to him. What else we got? Kevin, is the price difference between pickup and a cab and chassis. Okay, is there a price? No, it's going to be the value on the truck. Isn't that right, Brian?
If he's looking at physical damage or comp collision, it's going to be based on value.
Right.
There's a price as far as liability goes from a pickup to the cab and chassis of it. It's going to company to company on that. There's going to be a large difference or pickup to sometimes a large difference from pickup to an 18-wheeler, if that's what he's asking about.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Is there a difference between a standard pickup with a bed or a cab and chassis?
No.
I'll say no.
No.
So,
that's going to be the basic rating of it. That's where the VIN numbers, and if you have the 550, if you have the 550 truck, that's my mom.
somebody is not happy at your house, just so you know.
Oh, that's awesome. But if you have the 5500s, they're going to rate differently, and sometimes better and sometimes worse, depending on the different companies, versus 3500.
Right.
That's a company to company thing. The 5500s, obviously, they're made for heavy towing.
Right. Okay, what else we got? What about PA? Can you write in PA?
I do have markets in PA. Yes.
Yes. Okay, Alan, reach out to him. Kevin, I'm back again. All right. Can he help with our personal policies? I've ran 5,500 and was forced to get a separate commercial policy. That'd be his bobtail insurance, probably.
Yeah. Personal lines, I'd have very few markets. That way I should quote for personal lines. I really focus on the trucking side of it. I will look at trying to get a few markets for us, and I'll get those out to you. I get paid to pick up different markets, and I'll see what they can do as far as personal.
Well, it says here, just to revamp this question, Brian, it says, I have a Ram 5500 and was forced to get a separate commercial policy. And I'm assuming that's a bobtail policy? I'm not sure, Kevin.
What do you mean forced to get a separate? I'm not.
Yeah, can you follow up with that, Kevin, and we'll try to help you out with that.
And some companies, I don't know exactly where it's going, but some companies rate the 5500 and the 4500, but primarily the 5500 will rate that extremely different because that is first, it's a very nice truck to let you know. Second, the hauling, it's made to pull. It's what it's made to do.
Right. All right. Okay, so
That's it for now.
that's it for now. Anybody got questions? Kevin, you want to follow up on that? We'll try to help you out. Again, dd214.com. If you go over there, go to partners, there's down toward the bottom, there's an insurance link. You just fill out your name and your phone number and your email address, and Bryan will get back to you.
Yeah. If they said days, I was actually traveling. I just got home just a little while ago.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. Okay. How do I get a hold of Bryan? If Bryan Hicks, DD214, okay, you go to dd214.com, go to the bottom partners, click on insurance, fill out your paperwork, it goes straight to him. That's how you do it.
Okay.
We got anybody else?
Kevin is back.
Kevin is back. My personal insurance policy will not cover commercial. I was made to get a commercial policy. Absolutely. You have to. Yeah.
I think what he's saying is some personal companies won't write coverage for 5500.
That's right. Most won't, will they? I mean, I think once you get to the 5500, that demands a commercial policy all the time.
I can't speak for the personal lines. I don't know the answer to that one. But I will tell you that the 5500, especially when it first was introduced, very few companies would actually quote it on the personal side of it. So almost every time it had to go on a commercial policy.
Okay. Next, what we got? Alan. Hey, buddy. To be clear, when a commercial insurance is purchased, a separate personal policy is not needed. Correct.
If all the lines of coverage are on the commercial policy, and it's the only vehicle or owned by the company itself, you will not need a personal policy because it's all going to fall on the commercial policy. the kind of confusion gets in is when they sign on with someone, like an owner operator. That's when the confusion kind of sets in. Because at certain times you're covered under the commercial, certain times you're covered under a separate policy.
That's right. Right. Alan, I hope that answered your questions. What else we got? To clarify, the pickup versus cab and chassis, I get a Ford F-450 in both. So there is a difference there in coverage other than the Blue Book. No. Look, the cab and chassis and the bed are the same. One just doesn't have a bed. The value on them side by side, you have to state a value. So you would state approximately the same value. Not quite, because I think the cabin chassis would be a little cheaper without the bed. Yes, no, Bryan?
No, I think what he's asking about, should there be a rating difference with the cabin chassis versus the bed?
Okay.
Insurance companies will not rate that differently. Most insurance won't even, they're going to ask for the VIN number, and they're going to be able to pull the entire specs from that VIN number that they need for rating. Now that many companies won't value that different, won't quote that differently.
Okay. Same thing, only different. The
Yeah.
answer will be no.
No.
Do we have another one?
Just a request.
I need a factoring and dispatch. Lee, I'm going to tell you like I tell everybody else. Please go to DD214. Click on partners, and everything is there. Listen, guys, I want to be honest with you. If I don't use something, I don't promote it. Okay, I have to use it. I have to believe in it. They have to do me a good job before I say anything to you. Bryan is my insurance broker. That's what we do. He is here. I'm helping him help you, or helping you help him. I don't know how it works, but this is how it works. I don't make a dime off of this deal. He's here to do a favor for me. He came on as a favor for me, just to be able to try to help you guys out and get you the best insurance prices you can get, and get you somebody that will work with you know what you got, so you're not tied to Progressive. So that's where we're at with that. Do we have another one? Just ordered those cables, of course, the red ones for my brand. $22, I know. Just so you know, hey, Bryan, you got to get you a set of these, guys. $22, and it comes like with a long cable, a short cable, a ton of stuff, and they're freaking awesome, man. You just snap them up there. You know, there's no more fiddling with it while it's in your holder. Bryan, you got to get you a set of those for $19.
I will now. I'm sure I'll show them to my son. He drives for TMC. I'm sure I'll.
Oh, absolutely. They are fantastic. Fantastic. All right. So if we have no further questions, we're going to go once, twice, and we're done. Bryan, thank you so much. I certainly appreciate you coming out. I'm sure these guys will reach out to you. Please help them out as much as you can. If anybody needs anything, you know where we're at. Go to Patreon. You get my personal phone number. You can call me and ask me stupid stuff, and I'll answer stupid stuff for you. But listen, we are done. We're going to enjoy the rest of the week. Guess where I'm going this weekend? We're going to go. Now, we didn't get to go to the snow ride. You know, I said I was going to go tubing. I didn't get to go. I got tied up, and we ended up going go-karting. Blast, man. If you guys don't do it, go go-karting. It's a lot of fun. Now, if you're my age, you're going to come back sore and stiff. But this weekend, I am taking off and going to the casino in Cherokee just to go have dinner and play a little blackjack. But and I'll tell you why I'm telling you this more than anything is that I spent the last 3 years between COVID and building my company and did nothing. So now it's time to live a little bit. I'm going to do what I do. And on the weekends, I'm going to kind of back off and go have a little fun, enjoy life. Guys, enjoy life. Bless all of you. all of you veterans and first responders, thank you for all you do and all you've done for this country, because we would be nowhere without you. All right, guys, have a great week. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy your family. God bless you. See you next time.